Of identifying the men. From their own memoirs, these men admitted to their conspiratorial plans. Out of this secret meeting came the most powerful privately and foreign-owned corporation the world has ever known. Through its control of our money, the elite that own the Fed control other banks, assets, corporations, media, politicians, militaries, and ultimately you. The Federal Reserve is the head of the snake, the root cause of the entire enslavement of humanity. The Fed system is designed to imprison us through never-ending debt and fool us into believing our money has value, when it is in fact worthless, backed by nothing, based on debt, created out of thin air, recipe for enslavement. And this system was also designed to one day crash.
Wow, this system was also designed to one day crash, everybody. This was a private meeting a while back that put everything in motion to suppress those that were the communities and to enrich those that put this in power. My name is Khalifa Muhammad, and let me a little bit about myself. My family, and our group, the Halal WealthBuilders, we actually have been living off of silver and gold for the last 7 years. Bismillah, Rahman Rahim. Let's give all the praises to the Lord of all the worlds. And we actually have been living off of gold and silver for the last few years. The thing that makes this so unique is that we're able to do this at cost. When we was introduced to this from brother Ricardo, it was a no-brainer. Are you telling me that we're spending hundreds of dollars to live really good, and then now we'll be able to spend at cost? Now we're not going to be able to just live good. We'll be able to live exceptionally well and share it with the community. That is my thing right now. I've taken this bull by the horns so that we can make sure that we share this opportunity, because we also know that it is bigger than money. Then in the course of my journey, I was able to meet my brother, the one that I say, hey, look, we got an opportunity to share this with the people. And he was like, put me on. What do I have to do? Put me in the game, coach. My brother Ameer. Assalamu alaikum, brother Ameer. Peace.
Walaikum salam, peace and blessings to the family and all who's watching. Yes, this thing is very exciting. I'm extremely amped to be a part of this process, doing the work of the Creator, You know what I'm saying? We got to inform the people the best way we can, offering them the best that he has created to use as currency and money.
Yes, sir. Well, with
Yes,
that
sir.
being said, everyone, we just gave you the short intro of really what put us in this position. And that was back in the day with that little meeting in Jekyll Island a long time ago. But right now, we're going to play a brief video that's going to show you what they're doing right now.
Right now. Well, let me premise that before you go into it.
Yes,
I just
sir.
want to say that the wealth builders, the Halal wealth builders and at cost metal representatives around the world have been teaching about this for 5 to 7 years. This is not new. It's just that the people, for whatever reason, they did not believe us because we were so far ahead of the game because we were students of history. But now this video is from today. So if you've been following any of us for the last 5 to 7 years, as we have been forecasting what was about to happen, we didn't know exactly when, but today is when. And this is your truth right here and your time to get on. Let it rock out.
The United States economy is absolutely caught between a rock and a hard place right now. The Fed is absolutely screwed right now, and they know it. And now we're hearing from some of the Fed governors, which are sort of quietly admitting the truth. They just admitted that the US dollar is about to change in a big way over the next few months. Pay attention to what's happening. So a couple of big news stories to get to that will directly affect your family and your finances in the next few months. So you better pay attention to this. Okay, right before the Memorial Day weekend, Jamie Dimon, head of J.P. Morgan Chase, the largest bank in the world, fired off a shot heard around the world. He issued an ominous warning about the U.S. economy. It made headlines everywhere. And when the most influential banker in America talks, it's wise to listen. Whether you agree with his politics or not, it doesn't matter. Jamie Dimon said he cannot rule out a hard landing for the U.S. economy. For those unfamiliar, of course, a hard landing is an abrupt and severe economic slowdown, followed then by a period of rapid growth. So in simple terms, it's a crash, okay? It's a crash. And who gets hurt the most in a crash? Yeah, middle class and lower class individuals. That's who gets hurt. Dimon, of course, is being very candid, admitting that anyone who reads history knows there's a good chance of a crash coming. And that's not all. Dimon went on to say that the worst possible scenario for the United States economy is stagflation.
So I look at the range of outcomes, and again, the worst outcome for all of us is what I call stagflation. Higher rates, a recession, that means corporate profits will go down, and we'll get through all of that. I mean, the world will survive that, but I just think the odds are a little bit higher than other people think.
Of course, stagflation is a nightmare scenario where inflation keeps rising, unemployment stays high, economic growth stalls out. It's the perfect storm that economists, of course, dread, and in fact, they dread it more than a recession. That's why Dimon says what's happening in America reminds him of the stagflation of the 1970s in America. It was a devastating period for Americans, and it could do so again. Stocks would plummet, hitting 401ks, retirement savings particularly hard. Adding to this gloomy picture, JP Morgan's own internal analysts are forecasting market volatility, despite the stock market reaching record highs this year. They warn it could become very unstable very soon. The S&P 500, for instance, could fall by 20%, they say, by the end of the year. 20%. That's according to JP Morgan's chief market strategist. That is a significant drop, and it could wipe out a lot of gains that people have been relying on for their financial security. Imagine if you're about to retire and your 401k gets wiped out by 20%. Sound familiar? 2008, 2009 all over again? People who were ready for retirement, and then because of the crash, their entire retirement was wiped out and they had to continue working and never were able to retire. Let's be clear about what this means. If we face a hard landing or stagflation, the stock market will take a hit. Your 401k, your retirement savings, your investments, all of them at risk. This isn't fear-mongering. This is coming straight from the top bankers and strategists who are seeing the warning signs right now. Don't shoot the messenger, okay? But this is not just Jamie Dimon who's worried. It's the Fed. They are now admitting that they don't know what to do right now. The past week, during the Federal Reserve's meeting, they admitted that they're growing more concerned about inflation, with no immediate plans to cut interest rates. They've held the rate steady at a 23-year high right now. But here's the real kicker. Eventually, the Fed will have no choice but to cut rates. It's not a matter of if, it's when. And when they do, That's when the real trouble for the US dollar begins, because the market already believes that rate cuts are coming in September. It's penciled in. Starting in September, right before the election. How convenient, right? Right when early voting starts for so many Americans. They're going to cut rates. We know that this is coming. And then another rate cut likely in November. Again, this is what the market is telling us. So rate cuts, while intended to stimulate the economy, will actually further lead to a devaluation of the US dollar. And investors, seeing the writing on the wall, are going to dump their dollars. They're going to turn to commodities like gold, silver, copper, and other precious metals. These tangible assets are seen as a safe haven when fiat currencies start to lose their value. We are in a commodity super squeeze right now. We don't have enough. We don't have enough production. And the demand is off the charts. And when the US dollar gets dumped, people are going to flood into these commodities like you've never seen before. They're going to run into real estate, gold, silver, tin, you name it. Remember Europe and everyone else cutting rates, devaluing their currency? Investors ran back to the United States dollar, right? It was the only game in town. But as soon as the music stops, they're going to ditch the US dollar like a bad habit. And people like me will be pouring into commodities like gold and real estate, which I already am. But there's another big problem. We don't have enough commodities to satiate the appetite of all of these investors we're facing. And we're facing what's being called this commodity super squeeze, just like what we saw in the 1970s. Again, this is the 1970s all over again. Skyrocketing inflation, incredible demand for gold, silver, copper, tin, everything, nickel, but we don't have enough of it. Look at copper prices right now, off the charts. Look at gold prices right now, all-time high, off the charts. Uranium prices, all-time highs. Do you see a pattern here? I mean, heck, people are even stealing copper out of the Tesla charging stations. They're cutting the cords and stealing the copper. That's how bad it is.
It's a disturbing trend. Thieves targeting high-powered Teslas and other EV charging stations and stealing heavy cable for the copper metal inside.
So the bottom line is this, guys. The Fed is trapped between a rock and a hard place. They need to cut rates to stimulate the economy, but doing so will likely lead to a sharp drop in the value of the US dollar. People will leave the US dollar. It will trigger a mass exodus from the dollar into safer commodities. And that will destabilize the economic landscape even further. I hope you are preparing with your family right now. So that's the news update portion of today's show. Given everything I've just told you about the development over the past week, as you know, I have huge positions right now in gold and silver. Gold trading at The United States economy is absolutely caught between a rock and a hard place right now. The Fed is absolutely screwed right now.
Wow. Wow.
So listen, we want to make sure that y'all know, and what we showed you was in the intro was something that has been put in place. And if you remember what they said in the intro, the people that designed it said that they knew that it was going to eventually fail. But until it failed, their people were not only going to be empowered, but they were going to be in generational wealth. So right now we had to bring this news to you to be updated in today's time. And now my brother Ameer is going to show you something that's happening like right up to the minute. Go ahead, brother Ameer.
Yes, good evening, family. I just wanted to bring this information. We, as a family, the At Cost Metals family, want to be the ones who bring this real information to you. Just like the gentleman said on the video, this, the truth is not fear mongering. That's not what we're here to do, right? Because we've been talking about this day, this time right now, 7 years ago, right? This is not nothing new. It's new to people who have been following us and not been following the real news, because they're not going to show you this. Now, take a look at what's on your screen. The U.S. debt is now $7 trillion bigger than in the entire economy. I mean, I need y'all to sit down and really focus about that, right? And really think about that. It's $7 trillion. Our debt is $7 trillion more than what the economy is bringing in as a profit. That means that's an alarming situation right now, right? And this is the reason why everybody from the IMF, Bank of America, and BlackRock and the rest of them are warning about this debt crisis, because something is going to happen very soon. Next slide. Now, as if, it wasn't bad enough, and people may not, well, they don't believe those other people, right? They don't believe US Bank, or they don't believe BlackRock. Well, this is Janet Yellen. She's the Secretary of the Treasury, right? Now, Here's what she's saying. Yellen is warning higher outlook for rates will make it harder to keep deficits and debt expenses under control. This is out of the mouth, or quote, directly from the Secretary of Treasury Department, right? That's just basically reinforcing the fact that we're in trouble. Now, I don't know if you guys noticed, but a few months ago, the United States sent Janet Yellen and a gentleman named Anthony, get his last name, Anthony Blinken, to China to warn them to slow down the production because the rest of the world can't keep up. Now, is it China's fault that the US government made the decisions that they made? No, that's not. And nor is it ours, but it's our job as family members in this country to prepare our family, right? Because we can't stop them from doing what they're doing, but we can control the economy in our own homes. Next slide, bro.
Yes, and I want everybody to look at this. Look at the date now. We're talking about up to date. May 25th,
yes.
This came out.
Yes, this is up to date. This is what's not on the news. Now, for those of you that have family members or in the community, right? Now, what we've researched over the last few years, rather actually months, is that only 7 to 10% of the entire globe owns cryptocurrency, right? So this is why this is important. Now, this is talking about credit unions, but for some reason, credit unions are usually safer than regular banks. The credit unions, and this is the 24th of this month, are talking about tokenizing real world assets. Well, that's code word for your bank deposits. The money that's in your bank at some of the largest federal credit unions around the United States, they're talking about turning your paper into digital cash. Now, you want more proof? Next slide. All right, so take a look at this. I want you to take a look at this. The number one credit union on this list is, what's that? Navy Federal, right? Credit unions are right. Navy Federal are right for tokenization of real world assets. They're talking about your deposits. They're talking about your savings. They're talking about all of the money that you have in the bank. Tokenizing mean basically they're turning it into a digital currency against your will. You don't have any say so, right? With that bank, but you have control over what you do with your money. Next slide.
Okay, I think that's it for the slides, family. So what we want to do is we want to let everybody know and invite everybody and introduce everybody and welcome everybody to At-Cost Metals. And we are independents of At-Cost, independent affiliates of At-Cost Metals. And this is something that we really feel, in truth, is going to benefit not only you, but your family and generations to come. Why? The requirements for a successful company. First of all, let's say perfect timing. If you look at that, we looked at the first video, we saw the second video, we listened to Brother Ameer's speaking on things that's happening in real time. I would say that this company has perfect timing. It has perfect products, and we'll get into that. Why is it perfect products? Because this product has been given to us from the beginning of time, from the creator of all the worlds. And the perfect business model, you will see in the midst of this presentation how perfect that this business model is and is continuously getting better and better as the day goes on. The reason why this is timely is global uncertainty all but dictates the necessity of a stable store of value. Look, listen to that, stable store of value. Inflation is winning, and it is real, and it is bad, and I'm sure that we all here have an understanding of how inflation is taking off. Globally, housing and grocery prices are unstable. We all know that. If you shop, listen, if you eat food and you go shopping, then you know. And if you notice that anybody that's renting or anybody that's on mortgages, things is going up tremendously as the months go on. Central banks are all printing money at unprecedented rates, and you see when they print money, that means that the buying power of all monies is going down. Paper currency is going digital, BRICS, FedNow, the CBCCs, etc. All of that is coming into effect right now, and it's coming into effect without your permission. And guess what? Your monies is already in the bank. So they're not calling you up, and they're not texting you, and they're not giving you an email and saying, hey, this is what we're gonna do. They just doing it. So it's good for you to be on this type of a platform, to be able to listen to brothers like Brother Ameer, to listen to like brothers like Brother Ricardo and Brother Mike Thorpe, and the many different presenters here, especially during this 30-day blitz. It's very good for you to know what to do so you will not be side-blinded. Lasting effects of the COVID. This is that COVID thing. I think that it has just been put in place. Now, these are not opinions. They're facts, regardless of politics, nationality, or religion. Statements from our experts. Wow. Listen to the statements from our experts. Inflation is a very simple concept to understand. The more money is less value. And it may seem contradictory, but it's very straightforward. And that's from Dr. Ron Paul, a congressman. Listen to that. The more money, the less value. We just stated that the central banking, they're just printing more money. The governments are just printing more money. The more money you print, the less value that it is. Right now, the dollar bill is less than 3%, 3 cent rather, 3 cent buying power. The dollar bill, 3 cent buying power. Now, silver may be the best possible way to build wealth. That was by Robert Kiyosaki, the bestseller financial author. And right now, if he actually say right now, today, he would probably say that, and he is saying that silver is the best possible way to build wealth. Now, these quotes was done at least 20 years ago. 20 years ago. So why is precious metals so important? And why precious metals? You know, because it holds real tangible value. What does that mean? It'll never go to zero. That's for sure. Never go to zero. And it's time tested. What does it mean by time tested? I'll tell you what. I don't know about you, but I know my parents. They was into the the self do for self by ways of Tupperware and Avon and different meaningful things that would get you to if you was done right, you probably can make a good dollar. But most of us, if you go in a closet, you go in a basement, you go in a garage and push a little bit of boxes around and blow the dust off, you probably got some oils, incense, colognes, and soaps for a few years. But gold, what if you could just push stuff around in your garage, blow the dust off, and when you shine it, it's like, wow, it's a bar of gold, it's a bar of silver. And you can take that right there. Why? Because it's a hedge against inflation. It's easy, explainable. Even children know that it's good to have gold and silver. Relatively stable during uncertain times, relatively stable under uncertain times. Guess what? That's right. You can have it for years, many years, and your family could go into some kind of deficit. So your family could need something to happen. You could be thinking, oh my goodness, let me go to the bank and get a loan. No. Why? Because it's riba, it's interest, it's usury. Oh, what do I do? Oh, let's go in the basement. Let's go in the garage, right in the corner on the left side, and just blow the dust off. Yeah, you see that right there? Yeah, pick it up. Let's go down there. We can actually take that and go and turn it in and be able to get out of this debt that we're in. So it's stable. It's the best product to be garage qualified. Let's go on. Banks, brother, please, if you can see this, come on, Brother Ameer, and go over this right here.
I got you, Ak. So I just wanted to say this before we go into it, that this is the actual answer to the problems that we presented to you at the beginning of this presentation. Here's the answer, right? These are the solutions. Banks are buying gold, physical gold and silver, and shorten the market so they can what? Buy more metal cheaper. This is what's happening in real time. JP Morgan pays $920 million and admits misconduct over market manipulation. They're actually spoofing the market. You can Google it later on if you don't believe these slides. JP Morgan placed spoof orders and drive down the price of silver. And then the market purchases it and pushes it right back up again, right? JP Morgan pays $60 million to settle precious metals spoofing lawsuit. Now, if you Google this, it will go all the way back to 2017. They've been doing this. BRICS central banks make record buying gold as the U.S. as the U.S. dollar defense. So they're basically dumping the U.S. dollar. They're dumping the bonds, right? And then taking that cash and trading it for gold and silver. There's an old rule of thumb. The golden rule is he who owns the most gold makes the rules. And that's why those BRICS nations are dumping US dollars. As of today, 45% of the developed world are dumping US dollars collectively. And for us in the United States, that's the major currency that we use. It spells disaster for us if we don't take action. Next slide.
That's right. And then, you know, on top of that, what my brother, you know, spoke and we said that he reiterated is that these are some solutions to those films that we said in the beginning, we showed in the beginning, and and all the actual facts of what's happening right now today up to fact. This is the solution for you, for us, the common individuals, the ones that they're trying to put their financial foot on our necks. This is how we battle what they're trying to put up against us.
Correct.
So when we come up with that, we look at this. We look at Costco's. Just listen, one of the biggest items right now in the company of Costco's is gold and silver. At-cost metals actually has better prices plus no minimums or no maximums. When we say that, we want to let everybody know that, you know, we're not going to just like put up the just like the apples and the oranges right now. We're going to give that for our brother a special show for my brother Ricardo at the end of the program. Go ahead, brother, please explain this to him right now.
Okay, so now most companies, I don't know if you are plugged into what's happening, but most companies are now selling precious metals for crypto, and at-cost metals are the same way. We're paying for gold and silver with crypto, offers speed, efficiency, and lower transaction fees when enhancing privacy and security. What does that mean? That means if I use a debit or credit card, I'm going to get charged the taxes, right, and the processing fees for a third party. Well, at-cost metals, we accept crypto. No transaction fees, no taxes on that, and it's powerful. This modern day payment method allows for seamless cross-border transactions, providing a diversified and innovative approach to wealth preservation. So we have both of the greatest assets in history that are used as hedges against inflation. We have decentralized money, and then we have physical gold and silver, which is called lawful money.
Beautiful, beautiful. Please, everybody, please make sure everybody's muted. And let's, once again, everybody, this is for those individuals, those of us that are just trying to fight against what it is that they putting up and what? Preparing ourselves. These are for the customers.
Correct.
These are for those that are preparing themselves to not only save your wealth, but to gain wealth. See, we are able to utilize this and actually gain wealth from what they're trying to do to suppress it. And these are simple things that we can put in place and put in order for us to not only get through what they're trying to give us in, but to profit off of it as well. Exactly.
Correct.
So our business model mode that we have that at-cost metals have developed relationship with the largest market makers in bullion and numismatic coins in the world. We own our own networking software. See, this company right now, when you get involved with it, it's not like many other companies. You get involved, you pay your way to get involved, then you got to pay your way to play. That means you got to pay for a landing page. You got to pay just to utilize their website. You got to pay. No. Not with at-cost metals. Why? Because they own our own networking software, selling precious metal bullion to customers at cost to the customers. Now they pay affiliates for finding customers. Every company, if you look at anywhere, I don't care what you do, if you go to Google that company and see, do they have an affiliate program? 90% of the companies that you and I work utilize, they have an affiliate program, but they don't tell you, but they will probably have one. We manage and anticipate the growth, and it all has to make sense for the customers, affiliates, and the company. I love that part. It all has to make sense for the customers, affiliates, and company. Listen,